Hi, thanks for clicking on the video. I'm Ceymone. In this latest installment of my Everything Coming series, I'll be explaining the new features and changes coming in Year 8, Season 1 of Rainbow Six Siege. Towards the end of the video, we'll even get into the announcements regarding Year 8 as a whole. This video will be chaptered with timestamps in the description if you're looking for information on a specific topic. There will be supporting clips and screenshots throughout the video, but I've designed it as a fully listenable experience. I'm very excited for Operation Commanding Force, so let's get into it. This past year of Siege was a year full of new maps, major system updates, and new player protection initiatives like the Reputation system. All of these major shifts and new content informed Year 8's vision, which will be to double down on what makes Siege the uniquely strategic game that it is. The tactical nature of Siege will be reinforced so that players' choices feel purposeful and impactful. The Year 8 cinematic, played during the 6 Invitational, perfectly represented this tonal shift, introducing a new antagonist, Deimos, and quite literally killing off the "this is a simulation" aspect of Siege. We're back to a mission-oriented and squad-based drive, and with that, we've also learned our final two lore-based squads, Red Hammer and Viper Strike. Red Hammer, led by Thermite, is the squad of force and destruction. They're the group you send when you need brute force or someone to undertake a high-risk mission, as many of the members carry the loud, violent, and heavy-hitting gadgets. We saw this team, along with Ghost Eyes for support, in the Year 8 cinematic as they raided a mercenary encampment to recover Nighthaven ordnance. The other members of Red Hammer include Amaru, Ash, Blackbeard, Buck, Fuse, Goyo, Gridlock, Kaid, Kapkan, Oryx, Sledge, Tatanka, and Thorn. Viper Strike is our final squad entering the scene, led by Hibana. Viper Strike is a diverse and versatile support unit that contains experts of every type. Their amalgamation of these operators' skills creates a squad akin to an elite Swiss Army knife that boasts surgical precision, discipline, and excellence. We saw a portion of this squad in action in Operation Commanding Force's animated trailer as they attempted to apprehend Deimos aboard a cargo plane. Hibana will be leading the following operators: Alibi, Azami, Brava, we'll get to her in a moment, Blitz, Capital, Dokkaebi, Echo, Jackal, Jaeger, Maestro, Mira, Mute, Rook, and Thatcher. The Ubisoft team released the full Year 8 roadmap during the 6th Invitational, and I will get to the other seasons at the end of this video, but for now, let's cover the roadmap as it pertains to Season 1. In Operation Commanding Force, we're receiving a Brazilian operator, a reload rework, a new anti-cheat measure called Mousetrap, and more. We can also expect a mid-season event, the Battle Pass, a mid-season balancing update, and one elite skin throughout the season. Operation Commanding Force is introducing a new Brazilian operator by the name of Nayara Cardoso. Known as Brava, Cardoso is a 1-health, 3-speed attacking operator. Cardoso practiced law as a criminal prosecutor, but felt she couldn't effect significant change, which guided her towards the DPF, the Brazilian Federal Police. This eventually led to a successful career in the high-risk Tactical Interventions Unit known as COT, including a specialization in resolving civil aircraft hijackings. Her impeccable service record, including saving her cousin Capital, who was being held hostage in what seemed an impossible mission, led her to being recruited to Viper Strike by Hibana. Her biography describes her as an outgoing, lively, natural leader who remains an idealist despite the trauma in her past. Brava deeply values her family, hometown, and heritage, which can be seen represented in her design. Beginning in Operation Commanding Force, Brava will be giving the defense a taste of their own medicine. Brava is bringing the Kludge drone to the field. This specialized drone is suited to Brava's adaptability and will be paramount in overcoming tactical adversaries. With anti-drone rifles as its muse, the Kludge drone is a small, tank-like 4-wheeled drone that can hack defensive electronics. Susceptible devices' allegiance will be completely converted to the attack side, and devices that cannot be converted will be overheated until they're destroyed. Brava is equipped with 2 of these drones that can be utilized during the action phase, as well as 2 regular drones. And for those wondering, a Kludge is a haphazard or makeshift solution to a problem, particularly those related to computers or programming. Ironically, it has a negative connotation of being clumsy and inelegant, while the Kludge drone is anything but, particularly in the hands of a creative player. The Kludge drone has numerous interactions with operator gadgets, which I'll explain shortly, but first let's cover the general ways in which this gadget operates. When piloting the Kludge drone, a unique interface will overlay on the screen that provides useful information to Brava regarding her drone's utilization. Shown on the screen is what the interface looks like when you're just driving around and not aiming at any hackable devices. Notably, it contains 3 white target icons. These represent the maximum of 3 successful hacks that the drone can perform during the round. Neither picking the drone up and returning it to your inventory, nor capturing it, resets this counter. It is a static and non-malleable total. The reticle of the drone usually has 2 sets of 3 uneven lines. If you aim at an electronic device that is 20 meters or closer, the device will be identified on the Kludge's interface. At this point, the range information will also appear, and this lets you know if you're out of range to the device and how much closer you need to get. The identified device icon will be slightly transparent and gray between 10 and 20 meters, which is the zone a device can be identified but not hacked. Once you reach 10 meters or closer and are aiming at the electronic, the identified device icon will turn solid white, the reticle lines will line up with each other, and the drone will give a little audio cue at 10 meters, letting you know the device can be hacked at this range. At this point, you can use the same button you would use to shoot your gun to initiate a hack on that device. You must stay within the 10-meter range while the hack is being performed, which takes about 3 seconds total to get the success message and about 5 seconds for the associated points and hack to be reflected. You do not have to look at the device during the hack duration. You cannot get off the drone or exit the 10-meter range or else the hack will fail, which cancels the hack attempt but does not count against your drone's overall counter. If the device being hacked is an observation tool, it will show a special overlay during the hack to indicate what is happening, after which that observation tool will be unavailable to the team it was stolen from. A device being hacked will also emit an audio cue. Regarding the Kludge's interface, the target icon will blink while the hack is being attempted and will turn gray if the hack is successful, giving you an up-to-date visual on how many hacks are remaining on that drone. You can fire the hacking burst as many times as you want during the round, although it has a very minor cooldown. You cannot hack multiple devices simultaneously. The burst is under an upload cooldown while the device is being hacked. The Kludge drone interacts with a wide swath of defense's utility, so I will be breaking the Brava defense interactions into 3 main categories. Devices the Kludge drone will hack and make the gadget an attacker gadget, devices the Kludge drone will hack and destroy by overheating, and devices or operators that the Kludge drone cannot identify and has no effect on whatsoever. Let's start with the devices that Brava's Kludge drone hacks and turns into attacker-friendly devices. Generally, these devices can be visually identified by looking for the telltale glitch effect that should be in the enemy's team color. For me, my team color is set to blue, and my enemy color is set to orange. So when I'm playing Brava, my newfound hacked gadgets have a blue glitch effect because they're mine now, and when I'm playing against Brava, they're orange because they've been stolen from me. Devices that are hacked cannot be accessed or picked up by the original owner. If a lethal device is hacked and kills a defender, Brava will receive the kill credit, so you don't have to worry in the sense of friendly fire punishing you. And now we can get started on the hackable devices. For starters, default cameras, or the cameras that are innate to maps, can be hacked by Brava. Default cameras with newfound attacker loyalty will still appear in the observation tool list, but when you attempt to observe from that camera, it will skip over it, which is a telltale sign your camera is hacked rather than destroyed. Once hacked, any attacker, dead or alive, can observe from the camera. Bulletproof cameras can be hacked, and any living teammate can use the EMP burst to disable defender utility, including observation tools, bandits' batteries, and more. A hacked proximity alarm will alert defenders and will allow attackers to move freely and undetected. Bulletproof and default cameras aren't the only observation tools that can be commandeered by Brava. Valkyrie's Black Eye cameras, drones captured by Mozzie, as well as Mozzie's Pests, Maestro's Evil Eye, and Echo's Yokai drones can all be converted to Brava's will. If Brava reclaims a captured drone, that drone's ownership will return to its original owner. For example, if IQ's drone was caught by a Mozzie Pest during the round, and the Kludge drone hacks that drone later on, IQ will be the one able to move that drone rather than Brava. Brava can also choose to hack Mozzie's Pest gadget, which once hacked will catch captured drones and even echoes yokai if they drive into its radius. The yokai's concussive blast and the Evil Eye's laser turret can only be utilized by a living Brava. The former can be used to disorient defenders, even to interrupt a counter defuse, and the latter can be used to destroy even more utility in the site. Once hacked, defenders lose access and control of their gadgets, which is particularly harrowing in the case of Maestro's Evil Eye. But there is a small window of opportunity to destroy the Evil Eye if shattering the glass is insufficient, destroying it impossible, and the offending Kludge drone nowhere in sight. While being hacked, the turret will briefly open up, making it vulnerable to bullets. Mute's Signal Disruptor can be converted such that it will jam any defender electronic in its radius, including Bandit's batteries, Jaeger's ADSs, and more. With a jamming radius of 2.25 meters, the Kludge drone has no issue staying within 10 meters to conduct the hack without being jammed. One interesting interaction I noted was that a jammed smoke gas canister will not detonate, but a jammed smoke can still detonate an unjammed gas canister. The Kludge drone can hack the anti-projectile gadgets on the defense, including Jaeger's ADS, Wilmai's magnets, and Aruni's Surya gates. A hacked ADS will destroy any defender throwable caught in its radius, including impact grenades and Legion's goo mines. In the event the ADS cannot be shot, a bulletproof camera's EMP burst can be used to temporarily disable the traitorous ADS such that you can get a throwable past it. Granted, if you're able to throw something, you could likely shoot the ADS. A hacked magnet will displace or detonate throwables caught in its radius. Devices like proximity alarms or fresh magnets will be caught and displaced. In the case of sticky devices, like the two mentioned, they will usually stick near to where they were caught. Devices that can detonate are caught, their timer reset, and detonated. This includes nitro cells, as well as impact grenades. Aruni's Surya gates can be converted to allow unhindered passage to attackers and block defenders. This is particularly troublesome on the defense, where you are not as likely to have throwable utility that can be used to burn the gates. The site can very quickly turn into a dangerous maze, harsh to any notion of a retake. Surya gates can be hacked while they are active or recharging, and when they are reactivated they will remember their allegiance. On the defense, be careful to look for the telltale glitch effect on the Surya's emitter, as you may be reactivating what is actually the attack's gate. Various traps can be hacked by the Kludge drone and will activate against defenders instead of attackers. This includes the following: Kapkan's entry denial devices, Legion's goo mines, Ella's concussion mines, Alibi's prismas, which do not change in appearance once hacked, Malusi's banshees, and Thorn's razor bloom. If an activation timer exists on the device, such as for Thorn, that timer is reset when it's hacked, so it may not immediately activate even if a defender is in radius when the device is hacked. In general, a device that has been hacked will behave precisely how it would have versus the attack, except with flipped loyalty. The gadget will behave as if the attack is the friendly team, or owner of the gadget, and that the defense is the adversary. The second category of interaction between the Kludge drone and defender electronics is the devices that are hacked, but instead of being converted, they are overheated until they're destroyed. These devices include Smoke's gas canisters, Bandit's batteries, Kaid's electroclaw, which can be destroyed before its electricity activates if you're quick enough, Thunderbird's Kona stations, and Defender's pre-placed nitro cells. The nitro cells could not be detonated while the hack was being attempted. While it's theoretical you could hack a thrown nitro cell, I was unable to track the nitro cell well enough to initiate the attempt, let alone see if it could be destroyed before it detonates reliably. The final category of interaction between the Kludge drone and defender electronics are the devices that are unidentifiable and immune to the Kludge drone, often because they're not electronics at all. Some of these gadgets are immune due to their mechanical nature. Castle's armor panels, Rook's armor plates, Tachanka's Shamika launcher and incendiary grenades, Frost's welcome mats, Mira's black mirror, Goyo's Vulcan canisters, Azami's Kiba barriers, as well as barbed wire, deployable shields, and impact grenades. Other operator gadgets are immune due to them resulting from activation and active use, including Pulse's heartbeat monitor, Doc's stim pistol, Caveira's silent step, Vigil's cloaking, Clash's shield, Oryx's dash, Solus's Spec.io sensor, and Warden's smart glasses. So, basically every Defender gadget can be separated into one of those three categories when interacting with the Kludge drone: hacked, destroyed, or immune. Devices that are hacked belong to the attack now. Devices that are destroyed are gone, and devices that are immune are entirely unaffected. How you choose to benefit from these interactions will entirely come down to how creative you are at utilizing the Kludge drones and how mindful the defense is of their utility. But Siege is a team game, and nothing is won alone, so let's get into some of the operator's synergies that can benefit Brava and her team. The major synergy present is with IQ. Siege enjoys its tag team devilish duo pairings, like Thatchmite. Brava and IQ is another of these pairings, in which IQ is the scout who can locate electronic devices, and Brava is the executor, able to hack or destroy those gadgets. IQ can also detect traitorous attacker gadgets that may have been commandeered by an errant Mozzie loyal Kludge drone, the interactions of which I'll get to soon. Brava also synergizes well with Thatcher, as his EMP can disable gadgets blocking the Kludge's path, such as jammers or pests. Once the devices are in its sights, the Kludge drone can perform its duties, whether or not the device is disabled at that time. Brava will be helpful to the attack across the board, but she'll synergize very well with the hard breachers like Ace, because she can help remove the utility preventing them from performing their job. While it is an extremely useful and versatile gadget, the Kludge drone is not without its counters and weaknesses. While still small considering its payload, the drone is roughly the size of two normal drones put together, making it slightly easier to see and shoot. In general, the Kludge drone is louder than a normal drone, particularly when it's jumping. Kludge drones can be destroyed by bullets, explosives, electricity from operators like Kaid or Bandit, and lasers from Maestro's Evil Eyes or hacked shock drones. You can interrupt an ongoing hack attempt by destroying the Kludge drone, or by using the EMP dart from a bulletproof camera, which temporarily disables the drone. You can also cancel a hack by picking up the device before the hack is successful. This is useful particularly in the case of a tricking bandit. Mute signal disruptors can also jam the Kludge drone, as well as jam the devices that have been converted to the attack. Brava will have to be careful of these interactions so as to make the most of her hacking capabilities. Vigil can use his cloaking ability to go unseen by the Kludge drone, as well as any hacked observation tools including default cameras. Solus can use her Spec.io sensor to detect hacked devices and keep tabs of which gadgets are still loyal to the defense. A hacked bulletproof camera or EMP throwables can be used to interrupt and disable Solus's ability to do this. Finally, if Mozzie gets his hands on a Kludge drone, it becomes a very different playing field, and Mozzie and Brava can get into quite the ownership war of hacking and rehacking. I'll cover this myriad of interactions next. The three categories of hack, destroy, or immunity remain for the interactions between a Mozzie Kludge drone and attacker electronics. The following devices' loyalty will be given to the defense in the event Mozzie hacks them with a stolen Kludge drone: Brava's remaining Kludge drone, Claymores, drones, which will still have the 10-second limit outdoors, Nomad's air jabs, Twitch's shock drone, and Zero's Argus cameras. If Zero hasn't performed the wall perforation by the time it's hacked, only Mozzie will be able to perforate the wall before other defenders are able to swap sides. Only a living Mozzie will be able to fire the Argus camera's laser. It's important to note that when Mozzie acquires a Kludge drone, that drone's remaining hacks will remain static and does not reset. So if Mozzie hacks a Kludge drone that Brava has already successfully used up all three hacks, Mozzie won't have any hacks left to capture or destroy attacker electronics, but he can still use the drone as an observation tool. Mozzie can use a captured Kludge drone to destroy the following attacker electronics: Ace's Selma. If you hack the first Selma charge, the hack will successfully destroy the second charge, rendering the breach incapable of vaulting. Thermite's exothermic charge. Flores's Rotero drones. This can be when they're unarmored, and it can also destroy an armored drone. Fuse's cluster charge, although the timing of these doesn't quite stop the deployment in time if the fuse immediately detonates the charge. hard breach charges, but only if they're jammed or disabled, since their detonation is a bit too fast for the hack to succeed in time. Hibana's X-Kairos pellets, although you can only destroy a singular pellet at a time. Yana's clone, and unsupervised soft breach charges. Most of these depend on the attack loitering before detonating, or another utility like the bulletproof EMP delaying their detonation long enough for the Kludge drone to do its work. Finally, many attacker gadgets are mechanical in nature or are immune to the Kludge drone. These include Amara's Gara hook, Ash's breaching rounds, Blackbeard's rifle shield, Buck's skeleton key, Capital's bolts, Gridlock's track stingers, Callie's lances, Maverick's torch, Montaigne's shield, Osa's shields, Sledge's hammer, and Zophia's grenades. Other operators have electronic-like gadgets or gadgets that result from active use that are not affected by the Kludge. These include Blitz's shield, Dokubi's hack, Finka's adrenal surge, Glaz's thermal scope, Grimm's bees, IQ's sensor, Jackal's tracker, Lion's EE1D, Nook's cloak, Sen's ROUs, Thatcher's EMPs, and Ying's candelas. Frag grenades, smoke grenades, stun grenades, and impact EMP grenades are all unaffected as well. On the note of Dokubi, you cannot use a Mozzie Kludge drone to hack friendly default cameras even if Dokubi has obtained access, but Dokubi will gain the intel from the Kludge drone, along with all other observation devices in the defense's control. EMPs can be used to disable electronics Mozzie has turned. Overall, the Kludge drone is a very versatile tool, whether it be for observation, sabotage, or a bit of both. The Kludge drone particularly punishes players who tend to set and forget their gadgets, as an unsupervised and unmonitored electronic is a prime target for a bit of mischief and commandeering. With the chance of a Brava on the board, defenders will suffer a particular dread and paranoia as they move and observe carefully to see if their own gadget may lead to their demise. Teams with Capcan and Echo especially will need to be extremely wary, as these gadgets can easily be the difference between a round won and a round lost. Keeping an eye out for the telltale glitch effect of hacked gadgets and team communication will be paramount in ensuring Brava or Mozzie can't wreak too much havoc. As for the players utilizing Brava, keep your mind open to creative solutions to difficult puzzles. There may be several ways to achieve your goals. Do you destroy the bandit battery directly, or do you hack Maestro's Evil Eye and use its turret to destroy the battery and the rest of the defender utility in sight? The possibilities are endless, and I look forward to seeing how the Kludge drone is used by the community. Brava's loadout doesn't contain any novel weapons, but it does expand two primary weapons that have historically only belonged to lone operators. For primary options, Brava can bring the Para 308 assault rifle, shared by her cousin Capital, or she can bring the Camera's DMR, a stripped version of Buck's DMR. Brava's Para has access to all 5 barrel attachments, both grip options, the underbarrel laser, and sights up to and including the 1.5 optic. Brava's DMR has access to the muzzle brake and suppressor barrel attachments, both grips, the underbarrel laser, and sights up to and including the 3.0 optic. Brava's secondary weapon options include the Super Shorty shotgun, shared by Castle, Clash, and Gridlock, and the USP-40 handgun, shared by Jackal, Mira, and Oryx. To complement her loadout and the player's playstyle, Brava can bring 2 claymores or 2 smoke grenades. Overall, her loadout can be as versatile as the operator herself. With access to the Kludge's drone's ability to hack or destroy a majority of defender gadgets, a powerful loadout, and the fastest movement speed available in the game, I see Brava definitively entering the composition of many teams. I also see her being banned quite a bit in unranked and ranked, especially by teams who rely on observation gadgets and even more so trap gadgets to win rounds. In that same vein, Brava makes an excellent attacker repick option if you identify potentially troublesome bulletproof utility or possible opportunities during the drone phase. The better the defense is at placing gadgets in tricky to destroy ways, such as bulletproof cameras and Aruni Nooks, the harder it will be for them to destroy if you get your hands on it. Commanding Force is following up Solar Raid's Solus with another strong operator that will certainly change the way everyone operates round to round. In addition to the new operator Brava, 2 operators are undergoing operator balancing in the new season, Zero and Twitch. Zero is my favorite solo queue attacker, and overall he is in a great spot regarding his loadout and utility. But one major pain point exists when your goal is to use the Argus camera on sight. Since the camera currently auto-deploys to the other side of a breachable surface and is quite loud while doing so, the camera is often destroyed before you have the chance to use it. This point of frustration is being removed in Commanding Force, and the Argus camera will no longer automatically deploy to the other side of breachable surfaces, giving Zero the autonomy of deciding when that camera will drill and ensuring he is immediately ready to use it. Zero will need to take the time to manually activate the camera's perforation of the surface, and he is the only one able to do so. Once the camera has perforated the wall, any living attacker will be able to swap the viewing side at will. If Mozzie uses a captured Kludge drone to hack an Argus camera that has not yet perforated the wall, Mozzie will have to complete this action. At that point, any living defender can swap the camera's viewing side. These changes to Zero are intended to increase the survivability of the camera as well as foster collaboration, teamwork, and intel. The other operator getting a minor balancing update in the upcoming season is Twitch. The deceleration power of her shock drone is being increased from 5.9 to 14. In other words, the new shock drone will stop quicker once the input is released. This aids in the reliability of the drone's movement and will reduce that Tokyo drift effect when attempting to halt. With the operator changes covered, I want to take a small break to express my gratitude for those of you who watch and listen to my Everything Coming videos, as well as the friends willing to help me acquire the associated research and footage. It takes a lot of time to research, note-take, test, script, record, and edit these videos, and I hope they help inform you ahead of the season launches. If you haven't already, please consider liking this video, subscribing to my channel, and following me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Ceymone. Currently, I live stream every Tuesday evening from around 7:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope to see you there someday. That all being said, let's get back to the video, starting with the core balancing changes coming in Operation Commanding Force. The way weapons reload is an integral core game mechanic that is getting a rework this season. In a tactical shooter like Siege, a reasonable person would assume that a player who is reloading is non-lethal and vulnerable, presenting a critical opportunity. But in the current state of Siege, this is not the case. A player, providing their magazine is not empty, can cancel their reload and immediately get back into the fight. Their magazine magically pops back into the weapon. This is an unrealistic scenario in a game like Siege, where actions matter and have tangible benefits or consequences. In Operation Commanding Force, this core mechanic will be fundamentally changed to remove the benefit of reload canceling. Players will need to commit to their choices. In general, once the magazine or ammunition has cleared the weapon, it will not magically reinsert itself when you cancel. For all intents and purposes, you've dropped that magazine as soon as it's fully removed. The nuances of the rework can be broken into several categories based on the type of weapon. On the screen will be complete tables of which guns fall into which category that you can pause to view if you so wish. The first category of weapons contains the vast majority of guns in Siege, closed bolt weapons. These are guns that chamber around when reloaded from empty, such as by racking the slide or hitting the bolt release. Because they do this, there is one round in the chamber even though the magazine has been removed, as long as it hasn't been fully expended. This single bullet can be used as one last chance. After all, in Siege, it only takes one. The majority of weapons are closed bolt, including all assault rifles, submachine guns, designated marksman rifles, handguns, and machine pistols, as well as a subset of light machine guns and shotguns. All of these weapons will fall into the one in the chamber category. When you reload cancel a non-empty magazine in one of these guns, you will only have a single bullet to work with until you fully reload, and the remainder of the bullets in the magazine will be put into your reserve ammunition. You do not lose or waste that ammunition. The next category of weapons affected by the reload rework are the ones belonging to the category I call the full commit category. These include belt-fed LMGs, revolvers, and the direct drum weapons. After the point of no return, these guns have 0 bullets available until the reload is complete, regardless if there were bullets left before the reload. This is because no round is chambered in these weapons. They are fed directly. The aforementioned point of no return varies with weapon type. The belt-fed LMGs can be cancelled up until the moment the belt is cleared, at which point the ammunition count goes to 0 and you cannot cancel until the reload is completed, which can take quite some time for these weapons. The revolvers don't use a magazine because bullets are individually loaded into the cylinder, which rotates to place ammunition in the chamber. Once the ammunition is cleared from the cylinder, revolvers reload cannot be cancelled. Finally, the weapons that use a direct feed drum cannot be cancelled once the drum is cleared from the weapon, and will have 0 ammunition until the drum is reinserted. These include the DP-27, 612, and 612 SD. Fortunately, these reload quicker than their previous counterparts. While you may not be able to cancel the reload of the weapons in the full commit category, you always have the option to swap to your secondary weapon if necessary. This change also fixes a rather frustrating timing issue that has historically occurred with the belt-fed LMGs, where the reload would cancel at the very end and force you to start over, especially where Capital's M249 was involved. Now you can rest assured that the reload will complete successfully, no matter what you miss time. The final category affected by the reload rework are the weapons that aren't actually affected at all. These weapons load their ammunition individually, one at a time, so they simply have what they have whenever you cancelled. Pump shotguns and the Boss G fall into this category. You can reload these weapons relatively the same to how you always have, and you shouldn't notice a difference. Overall, the reload rework reinforces the notion that your actions should be purposeful and the consequences are real, which is consistent with the tactical and strategic nature of Siege. Personally, I will need to break my habit of topping off my magazine while actively roaming the map. Making use of environmental cover or concealment will be paramount to ensure you're not caught with your pants down, as they say. The importance of teamwork will be enhanced as you may need to provide cover for your vulnerable teammates. It also brings greater meaning to loadout choices and an elevated risk-reward dynamic to less lethal secondaries like secondary shotguns or the Gon 6. If you erroneously cancel your primary's reload and need to use your sidearm, your choice of secondary can easily be life or death. All of these aspects will lead to a more immersive reload system, one belonging to a game like Siege. Along with the reload change, some more barrel attachment changes are coming, continuing the recoil and attachment changes that began in Year 7. The muzzle brake attachment's kick reduction of the initial shot has been increased by 5%, from 45 to 50%. This means the new muzzle brake will reduce the kick of the initial shot even more. The Compensator's horizontal recoil reduction has been improved by an additional 20%, going from 15 to a whopping 35%. This means the new Compensator will cause the weapon to move less from side to side than before. Operation Commanding Force will also be bringing some important quality of life updates to the game that may not change how the rounds are played, but will certainly improve the user experience in getting there. The play menu is getting a refresh and has been split into 3 categories to organize the existing playlists in the game. The competitive category includes the ranked and unranked playlists. The quick play category contains quick match, team deathmatch, and any ongoing events. Finally, the training category will house training grounds, the shooting range, and situations. Custom games will live in a tile above the training category. Under each category, there will be a tile dedicated to your last played mode for quick and easy access. For playlists that have different modes, such as Quick Match, which can include bomb, secure area, and/or hostage, there will be an easy access settings tile that gives you immediate access to enabling and disabling those modes. This removes the need to navigate a maze of the settings menu to make these changes and will get you into the game modes you want to play in less clicks and causing less frustration. In addition to the reorganization of the home of these playlists, various modes are getting quality of life touch-ups in Operation Commanding Force. The time frame of ranked match cancellations, where a team can vote to cancel a game if they do not have a full team entering the first round, is being adjusted. If a vote occurs at the end of the round, votes will be tabulated during the end of round replay, and the match will be cancelled before entering round 2. This will let each player provide their vote and also give the missing player or players a chance to return before the cancellation activates. If you use Team Deathmatch to warm up, you can sleep a little easier knowing your respawn locations should be a bit safer than they used to be, lessening one of the more common complaints arising from the playlist. Thanks to new onboarding initiatives, which I'll cover in the next section, the Newcomer playlist will be removed as it has served its purpose in the intermediary and can now be retired in lieu of these new and future initiatives. At the launch of Operation Commanding Force, there will be a limited-time discovery playlist featuring the bomb game mode on the Emerald Plains map in which you can earn double battle points and get an early head start on your progression. Also on launch, Brava will be unbannable for the first 14 days in ranked and unranked, ensuring that players will have the chance to play her and incentivizing the purchase of the Premium Battle Pass, which gives you access to Brava in those first 14 days. The test server has always existed as a separate game instance detached from the live server. Because of this, it was always easy to forget about, thanks to the notion of out of sight, out of mind. The new season hopes to bridge this gap by providing an access point from the live games menu. This access point will be available when the test server is available. If you have the test server installed, using this access point will close your current game session and launch the test server. If you do not have it installed, it will expedite the process of installing the test server in the background while you continue to play. While simple, this access point will increase the visibility of the test server, make it easier to access it, and hopefully get more people testing the new content before it arrives on the live build. The custom game Spectator and the match replay UI is getting an update to more clearly depict what utility is available on each team in real time. An empty circle will mean that the gadget is available or in pocket. A white circle will mean that the gadget has been deployed on the map. An X will mean the gadget was deployed but has been destroyed, used, or expended. This is the UI that you see when watching Pro League games, so hopefully it helps people understand the current makeup of the round as far as utility is concerned, especially regarding drone utilization. Finally, the Battle Pass is getting a minor update at the launch of the season with a new spin on Bravo packs. As a reward for completing the Battle Pass, or all 100 tiers, Premium Pass holders will earn a Bravo ticket. This ticket can be spent in the Bravo collection to unlock a cosmetic of your choice, rather than leaving it to chance. Let me know in the comments what cosmetic you'll be aiming for as your reward. Throughout the year, there will be various improvements made to the UI and UX of the Battle Pass as well, but it seems like those changes will not be coming with Operation Commanding Force. Onboarding is an important pillar in the longevity of a game since it ensures that new players can steadily replace retiring players and keep the player base fresh and alive. Learning any new game is difficult, but Siege in particular can be daunting to a new player with 65 operators who each have their own unique gadget, 20 distinguishable maps, objective-based gameplay, and a high level of strategy to learn. The Siege team will be helping these players acclimate more quickly and comfortably by continuing development and onboarding features in-game. While the Ubisoft website always assigned recommended roles to operators, these roles were not visible in-game and it can be difficult for new players, or even veteran players, to categorize what operators do as well as see potential gaps in operator selection. The new season will be introducing operator specialties to the game. These are groups, 6 on the attack and 6 on the defense, that will be assigned to operators to define what their general strength or role in a round would be. Each operator will have 1 to 2 of these specialties, and they'll be visible on the operator pages, guides, and elsewhere, so players can immediately get a clear picture of that operator's main purpose. The attack specialties are as follows: Breach, which includes operators like Sledge and Hibana; Anti-Gadget, which includes operators like Fuse and Thatcher; Support, which includes Blackbeard; Frontline, which includes Ashe and Yana; Intel, which includes Montaigne and Twitch; and Map Control, which includes Dokkaebi and Jackal. The specialties on defense are the following: Anti-Entry, which includes defenders like Smoke and Bandit; Trapper, which includes Kapkan and Frost; Crowd Control, which includes Caveira, Tachanka, and Vigil; Anti-Gadget, which includes Mute and Bandit; Support, which includes Castle and Doc; and Intel, which includes Valkyrie and Pulse. Our new operator Brava is assigned the Anti-Gadget and Intel specialties, which makes sense since she operates an observation tool that can also destroy or commandeer defender utility. Using the operator specialties as its backbone, Siege will be introducing beginner challenges or operator specialty challenges in the new season. These challenges will be oriented around the previously mentioned specialties and will contain tasks players can complete during their regular games that are relevant to those operators or roles. The individual challenges can be completed to unlock renown, boosters, and even something called a Newcomer pack. Once you've completed that set of challenges, and it seems to usually contain 3, you unlock an operator of that specialty. This is the first time Siege has ever introduced the concept of playing to unlock operators, and I'm extremely happy to see it. If you already own the operator that the challenge set would unlock, you will receive their value in renown instead. The challenges and associated rewards are available to every player, regardless of how long you've been playing. New players will be able to find the challenges on the home menu, replacing the Battle Pass tile. Current players will be able to locate them in the play menu, likely in the training category. As an extra little helping hand, operator guides will also be implemented into the match replay so you can easily see the team composition and how the operators you're observing work. Overall, these aspects of onboarding particularly benefit new players, but can truly benefit everyone, whether it be by helping understand strategy, which is an element many forego in rounds in lieu of a more shoot-them-up style of play, or by making sure everyone is on the same page about what is expected of them. At the end of the day, Siege is a team game, and these onboarding initiatives give players the tools to learn and a clear path to success. Protecting players from toxic behavior and cheating is another critical pillar in the longevity and health of a game. Operation Commanding Force will improve Siege's player protections in two major ways, by furthering the breadth of the reputation system and by introducing a new anti-cheat measure directed towards the console player base. The reputation system was introduced in Year 7 with friendly fire and text chat sanctions to ill-behaved players who abused those systems. The reputation system will be receiving an update in the new season by including voice chat. Players with voice chat sanctions will be muted by default, although teammates who choose to do so may unmute them. This feature will initially roll out targeting the topmost offenders. The system will send a set of warnings to these players to correct the behavior before doling out the sanction, which will last a number of matches. This update will expand to the entire community later on. In the mid-season patch of Commanding Force, a new anti-cheat measure will activate to address a long-standing issue on the console side of Siege. All console shooters suffer from the existence of input spoofing devices, such as the Zim adapter, that allows players to use mouse and keyboard instead of controller, giving them an undeniable advantage against the honest control players. To make matters worse, these devices are designed to be undetectable, and so far the industry has not found a reliable solution to this epidemic. Until now. Ubisoft teams have worked hard to design and build an internal system that they've called Mousetrap that has been running in shadow mode for several seasons and sniffing out players who are using these devices. They've also analyzed the data and know that your chances of encountering a cheater of this nature increase as your rank does. Rather than executing a mass ban on the offending players, the developers have decided to punish offenders and hopefully incentivize the use of controller by removing the advantage proffered by the use of mouse and keyboard. When Mousetrap detects a player cheating with an input spoofing device, the game will add an increasing amount of latency to their inputs, making it incredibly difficult to function in-game. If a player unplugs the spoofer and begins using a controller, the latency will reduce over time and they'll be able to enjoy the game as it's intended on a fair playing field. In doing so, Ubisoft has also officially updated their code of conduct to prohibit the use of external devices to gain an unfair advantage, making the use of input spoofing devices an offense and a defined method of cheating. The Mousetrap developers worked closely with the accessibility team to prevent players with disabilities who use assistive technology from being affected by this system. But if you are one of those players and feel you've been unfairly penalized, there will be a QR code on the menu of the game that can be used to open an investigation to improve your experience as well as the system. Mousetrap is an industry first and an experimental solution, so the version launching in the mid-season patch will not be the final iteration. Mouse and keyboard on console has been one of the biggest complaints in the community, and the announcement of Mousetrap is an incredible step forward in the game's health and the future of competitive console shooters as a whole. So we've now covered all the features that will be coming at the launch of or during Operation Commanding Force. The special thing about the first season of the year is that we also get the year reveal, which gives us our first peek into the development plan for all 4 seasons. And I'm going to take the moment now to go over the features revealed for Year 8. Keep in mind that all of the features I'll be discussing next are not coming in Commanding Force, but are slated to appear in Seasons 2, 3, and 4. Year 8 Season 2 of Siege will likely release around early June and is going to introduce our first operator from Sweden. We'll also be getting an operator rework, which was received with mixed reactions by the crowd. Frost's welcome mats will be receiving a critical change. Rather than being stranded, operators who step into one of the dastardly traps will have the option to get themselves out of the trap, but at a cost. The cost will be that you will leave an extremely bloody trail in your wake and you won't be able to run. I'm not willing to consider this a nerf, but rather a change. Frost will be able to live the huntress role and track her prey down, but she won't be able to fall into a set and forget playstyle if she wants her mats to have maximum effect. Combating set and forget seems to be a theme considering Brava's addition to the operator lineup. Next, one of the oldest maps in the game, Consulate, is also getting a full rework and technical refresh. Based on the pre-alpha footage we were shown, it seems to remove many of the frustration points in Consulate, including the removal of the spiral staircase windows, a brand new garage, and some updates to the dreaded balcony. The overall sound and structure of the map should also be vastly improved. Season 2 will continue building on the onboarding initiative that has begun picking up speed in Commanding Force. The shooting range will be getting its third lane, an aiming lane, complete with targets of adjustable speed, movement, and quantity. Rather than using third-party applications like AimLab, players will be able to use the training category of the game as a one-stop shop to their warm-up routine. Finally, Season 2 is slated to introduce a permanent arcade playlist containing the fun and fast-paced game modes like Golden Gun, as well as a brand new one for our enjoyment. Season 3 will likely release around September and will be adding another South Korean operator to the lineup. Quick Match is slated for a rework that will focus in on this mode's fun, quick, low-stakes purpose. A game mode that has few frustrations that you can play when you want to take a break from the competitive modes like ranked and unranked. A mode that is fundamentally the core of Siege and lets you reinforce that muscle memory while not having to worry about rank or an extreme time commitment. Season 3 is also scheduled to release a new set of playable tutorials on special maps that teach the basics of Siege, such as verticality and reinforcing. This is a part of the onboarding initiative, but much like the operator specialty challenges, everyone will be able to benefit from these tutorials. Completion will award you 10 new operators, 5 on attack and 5 on defense. Finally, in Year 7 we were given a new attacker secondary gadget, the Impact EMP Grenade. Year 8 Season 3 will give us a new defender secondary gadget called the Observation Blocker. Intel is a pillar of Siege, and this device will help deny the attack that integral part of the round. From the pre-alpha footage, it appears operators with this gadget will have 3 of them that they can deploy on the floor, after which they will expand to create an invisible wall that blocks observation tools from seeing through. This particularly works well to hide important gadgets from drones and to move more freely despite tricky drone placements. It does leave me wondering if Brava will be able to hack this device with her Kludge drone such that it will block defender cameras from seeing through. Finally, Season 4 will likely release in early December and will bring with it an operator and a new map from Portugal. This new map will be tied into the story of the game and will also contain an element we haven't seen before in maps we've played. Comment down below what you think this may mean. Could it be an operational elevator? A water element? Environmental risks? Deployment from a helicopter? The list could be endless, and we have the entire year to speculate. Brava's operator trailer had a map I didn't recognize, so I do wonder if that was our first taste of this Portuguese map, or if it was just a scene created for the trailer. In addition to the new operator and map, Season 4 will bring a rework to another core game mechanic, shields. They'll be bringing the gun behind the shield, including the reload, and shield operators will be able to move their head to view their periphery without moving the shield. It'll be best to keep these operators at distance, as they seem to have gained the ability to bash people with their shields, creating an effect similar to Oryx's dash. To make up for these enhanced abilities, it seems shooting will have more effect on these operators, causing them to rattle, obstruct their vision, and potentially open lines of sight to damage their bodies. Finally, Season 4 will continue the onboarding initiative by introducing machine learning to Siege with the Defender AI playlist. In this playlist, you'll play as an attacker against machine-learned AI that are based on current player data. These defenders will set up sight like real players would, and this playlist will give you a safe but realistic environment to hone your skills and learn or teach the game. The next step, likely in Year 9, will be in an attacker AI playlist. We're also slated to receive a Battle Pass and mid-season event during each of the 4 seasons of Year 8. The team also revealed some other features that will be spread across the year and weren't assigned specifically to any one season. These are changes including player protection, balancing, and player comfort. We don't know when these changes will come, but we should expect to see them scattered about throughout the year. To foster a toxicity-free and enjoyable game, the Siege teams will continue to implement a range of solutions and initiatives like the reputation system, mousetrap, and so on to create a net of systems that will reduce the occurrences of cheating and toxicity. One such system is QB, the new mysterious internal security system. The goal is to raise the costs of producing cheats while simultaneously making cheaters lose faith in the cheats they're purchasing, effectively demolishing the cheating industry's foundation and momentum. Additional ranked restrictions and requirements will be added to reduce smurfing, which is considered cheating, and to reduce the impact of inadequate accounts playing the most competitive mode in the game. Privacy mode, which is the mode that allows users to hide their identity through nicknames to prevent queue sniping, stream sniping, and targeted toxicity, will be unveiled to console during Year 8 as well, finally coming out of its PC beta run. Year 8 will also pivot to reward the players who have been the embodiment of what a good and wholesome player should be, and to allow players to appreciate the good aspects of the community. A commendation system will be integrated into the reputation system, which will allow you to give your teammates or the opposing team accolades, including GG, or fun to play with, good intel, and teamwork. Receiving commendations will unlock rewards and impacts such as packs to open. This is an important foil to the penalizing side of the reputation system, and will allow positive reinforcement to incentivize the good players to continue behaving well and for the toxic players to clean up their act. These combined player protection initiatives aim to increase cooperation in the game and to make each game a safer and more comfortable experience for everyone. Each season can expect a mid-season balancing patch, which usually includes operator and/or weapon changes. In Year 8, these patches will be intended to remove frustrations, reinforce the strategic and tactical tone of the game, but also empower players to accomplish their goals and play the game how they enjoy it. In that same vein, Year 8 wants to ensure you're not working against the game to achieve what you want, so they'll be introducing several player comfort changes and console improvements throughout the year. One focus will be to increase the reliability of core game mechanics, including gadget interactions, such as picking up, placing, and throwing gadgets, as well as interactions with the diffuser. Controller players will be receiving a long-awaited freedom to have multiple controller presets and full control of the remapping of buttons. This will finally give players the avenue to bring contextual lean, which is the ability to lean without shooting, lean while shooting, etc., to console. Finally, there will be various improvements to the Spectator mode, and a free camera will be introduced to match replay. I love to see a reinvigorated drive to improve the onboarding in Siege. Even though I'm past the point of needing to learn much of these things, Siege only gets more and more complicated each season, and we need new players to feel capable and comfortable while learning the game. I'm very excited to see the new operators, given the last trajectory of strong and versatile operators like Solus and Brava, and of course I just simply can't wait to see the new map. Year 8 is shaping up to be another good year of Siege. Since the last Everything Coming video came out in December, a lot has happened to propel the story and lore forward. In the Solar Raid launch animation, Solus, Caveira, and other operators raided the Nighthaven headquarters as Kali attempted to launch a mission to kill anyone caught with unauthorized Nighthaven ordnance. Solus revealed that Rainbow knows that Nighthaven did not kill Azami's prior boss Yahada, but that Nighthaven will not be allowed to recklessly start a war. Essentially, Rainbow is taking over the operation, and Caveira teased the Red Hammer squad. Then the Solus comic was released, showing a Ghost Eyes operation in an R&D facility. Caveira wasn't sure Solus was cut out for her spot in Ghost Eyes, but during the mission she proved herself a valuable asset. In the end, Caveira presents Solus with a new task and hands her a flash drive. This appears to be the same flash drive that Nook retrieved from Nighthaven's headquarters in the Brutal Swarm animation, containing QCR shipping records according to Grimm. It would seem I'm correct that Solus's specialization in counterintelligence and computers will be utilized to decrypt the Nighthaven data. I do wonder if the thread of Grimm threatening Nook's identity and someone important to her will be left as a loose thread, or if it will be tied back into the story somehow. However, starting with the Year 8 cinematic, the lore has taken a dramatic turn and a major tonal shift. In the Year 8 cinematic, we saw a menacing figure by the name of Deimos talking with Harry in his office. Deimos shows Harry a live feed of a Red Hammer operation to recover some of the stolen Nighthaven ordnance, but Deimos reveals it was a bait and trap, and the live feed ends with a bomb detonating in very close proximity to the operators. Deimos proclaims that this is how Rainbow dies. He asserts that Harry has brought shame to his unit, and he vows to kill every operator one by one. He then shoots and kills Harry, at which point the cinematic ends. This is a pretty clear indication that Siege is departing from its simulation and training theme, which explains why there was no Road to SI event this year. We're back to meaningful, mission-based, life-or-death operations that show what these operators are capable of in the field and against a mastermind like Deimos. Deimos, by the way, is the name of a Greek god, the personification of dread and fear. In the Commanding Force animation, we saw a little more of Deimos as Viper Strike infiltrates his cargo plane in air with the mission to take him in or execute him. Deimos opens the cargo bay of the plane, and Brava is forced to choose between letting her cousin Capital die or take the shot on Deimos. In the end, Deimos gets away by skydiving from the aircraft, and we're left wondering what his plan is, which will likely be updated in the Commanding Force comic installation. Personally, I always look forward to these lore updates, but I know some of you aren't, but you may be interested in the Esports updates for Year 8. Ubisoft recently announced its partnership with Blast, an esports entertainment network, to launch Blast R6, a global esports circuit for Rainbow Six Siege. Blast representatives announced the format for the 2023 season. I'm not very familiar with how these work, so I'll just link their very detailed website in the description below. But the parts I did understand is that we will have 2 stages and 2 majors this year. The first will be in May, located in Copenhagen, Denmark. The second will be in November and will be located somewhere in the United States. Finally, the 2024 Six Invitational will be going somewhere much warmer than Montreal. We'll be heading to Brazil. Those are the major updates I'm able to give you regarding the esports updates announced so far. Now we're coming to the conclusion of this very long video, and I want to thank everyone who's stuck around. As usual, the Year 8 Pass is out right now. Purchasing the Year Pass will grant you premium access to all 4 Battle Passes throughout the year, a bundle for Ace, a 10% store discount, and 14-day early access to the new operator for that season. You can pay a bit more for the Premium Year Pass, which will give you all of the above as well as 20 tiers unlocked on each Battle Pass and a Thunderbird bundle including an exotic skin. The pass will be available for purchase until March 20th. If you're planning on purchasing each Battle Pass anyways, the basic Year Pass price ends up being akin to a buy 3, get 1 for free situation. Operation Commanding Force is arriving with a lot of heavy-hitting new content on launch, including Brava, the Reload rework, updates to the play menu, and operator specialty challenges. During the season, but not at launch, we'll be getting the new anti-cheat mousetrap for console, 1 elite skin, a seasonal event, a balancing update, and more. The season will go live on Tuesday, March 7th. Thank you for listening to this video, and I hope it's helped you get on the same page regarding the changes coming. Much like Ubisoft's onboarding initiative, I really want to provide ways for players to easily understand how the game is changing in fundamental ways so that you're not surprised or confused. Comment down below what your favorite feature covered today has been, consider liking the video, and if you want to chat about it, you can catch me live on Twitch on Tuesday evenings. Thank you. Ceymone signing off.